All right, welcome to the podcast, Joelle. So it's such a pleasure to have you. I guess for the audience, just in 30 to 60 seconds, how would you describe it is what you do?
The elevator pitch, is that what they
Yes,
call
yeah,
it? The 60-second elevator pitch? Okay.
yeah.
Hi, hello. It is me. I'm Joelle. I am a wedding planner. The 60-second elevator pitch would be I get to be a part of the biggest days or one of the biggest days of a couple's life. And what a privilege. Okay, so we'll just start there. Second, I get to design. I get to be creative. I am that crazy. I don't know if Stephen, are you doing like a video recording? Are they going to see this?
No, they won't see it,
Okay.
but you can
No, they're good.
describe it. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
a 6'1" Polly Pocket, as I've been told by a fellow groomsman at a wedding. And being creative and doing all those creative things just make my heart sing when it comes to smashing being a wedding planner, being creative, and being this like big personality. I am a wedding planner who loves to design and do all the things and talk to all the people. That is my 60-second elevator pitch. It's probably not 60 seconds, was it?
No, that was great. But before we get into the serious stuff, we like to start with a little rapid fire questions to get things moving. So the first question is, what is your favorite movie or movie you've watched the most?
Avatar.
Which one?
All of them.
So
Well, I can't even say all of them because I haven't seen the third. I'm waiting to see the third. Yeah.
Avatar. Okay, interesting. So did you get like depression after the movie?
But it's like the greatest gift though, because it comes out around my birthday every time that they've released them. So it's like not depressing because I'm like hopeful that they're going to release another one.
Yeah. So you always got more. Okay, that's good.
It's a gift that keeps on giving.
Exactly. Do you have a favorite book or book that influenced you the most?
Oh, yes. Unreasonable Hospitality.
Oh, that's a great book.
Have you read it?
Yes, by the guy who started the hospitality group in New York. I'm Gramercy, is it something like that?
Yes. I'm trying to remember the name of it, but yes, that was probably that and the Let Them theory with Mel Robbins. So good.
Okay, perfect.
So good.
Do you have a favorite podcast that you like?
Not quite ready. Duh.
Yeah, perfect.
If I had to name one, there's one. It's super like, I don't know, Kelly, maybe you've heard of it, but it's called Girls Gotta Eat. And it's just these two girls that just riff on all of the current topics that are going on in the world. I love it. Absolutely love it. It's unhinged to the nth degree.
Yeah, whenever we ask this question, people always have these random podcasts I've never heard of. So I love it. Okay, so Girls Gotta Eat.
Girls Gotta Eat.
Yeah, I'll give it a shot. I don't know if I'm the target demo, but we'll give it a shot. Yes, exactly. When you need to lock in and get some work done, do you have like a process or something you do to really just get focused and get in the zone?
Yeah, I turn on. I'm very much a person who needs like noise stim. Like I can't be working in like a quiet setting. So it's one of two evils. I don't know if I'm just like there's a Hertz. Do you guys know what I mean by like the I could totally just be butchering this. There's like this frequency playlist that you can listen to that's like, you guys are both looking at me.
No, I know like binaural beats. That's what I'm used to, where it's like just like this weird like sounds. Yeah.
That or it's jazz music. Like some like coffee shop jazz that plays around on in the background. And for whatever reason, like that counterbalances like my own thoughts. And that's where I'm like locked in, ready to go. Yeah.
Well, what about when you need to lock out? Because I imagine when you're planning a wedding and it's coming up and people are asking you and you're just like, I need to get away from work and not think about it. Is there anything you do?
I go out to the lake. Yeah. I get out on the water or I go sit outside or just exist outside, shutting my phone off, like literally turning the tap. I even turn the taps off to my husband, right? After a wedding, I'm like, honey, I love you, but I do not want to talk to you. I am so over I'm conversationed out. I am all of the things out. So it's just like, give me nature, fresh air, and no conversation, and I'm down. 100%. I'm
Yes.
down. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. And last rapid fire question. If you were to
Yeah.
receive a $20,000 grant, what would you do with it?
Steven, that's a good one. If I got a 20K grant, mm, there's a bunch of like little things that I've been wanting to launch that just haven't been able that I haven't been able to give it the time and space. So I'd probably hire somebody to like I have a VA that I tag in on a few things, but with 20K, like I could get those projects like really off and
Yeah.
onto the website, just finish it per se. I
Okay.
think that's what I would do.
So you would hire a virtual assistant? Is that it?
Well, I
To do
have
this
one,
stuff?
which seems silly. I have one, but it's like the 20K would be huge to like
You
because you
allow
can
them to
only
work
afford
more.
like it's
Yeah.
yeah, like it's one of those cost things where you're like, oh, I just don't quite have that to push that out right now. So it'll just sit on the back burner until I get the time and space to do it, you know?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's a good answer. That's a good answer. I imagine, as a self-employed woman, you got like
Yes.
you need someone to help out. So I like that. So
Yeah.
that's the rapid fire. So now let's
There's
get
the
into
rapid fire.
the actual, kind of business questions and hearing about your
Yeah.
journey. So the first question we like to start with is, do you recall a moment in time where you sort of had the realization that you wanted to start your business and you wanted to work for yourself? Like, was there anything specific? Was it something
Yeah.
when you were a kid and that was always kind of who you were? Is there anything you can think
Mhm.
about?
I just the concept and like this is such a Hollywood like very sexy idea of being the businesswoman, right?
Yeah.
Like there's just something about being in that outfit and walking into your office and just like owning the room and all that kind of stuff. Like that's just the idea of that was like, oh my God, I froth at the mouth with that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
However, like being a lawyer, being like those things were so I'm a smart woman, but I am not an academic. So like
Yeah.
every role that every woman played was just a little bit out of reach. And I knew that my mom was a very creative individual. So growing up, I was always surrounded by things changing or ideas and all this kind of stuff. And that's where I learned my creativity from. So when it comes to like that specific moment, I think it was when I had graduated from Augustana in Camrose. So I grew up in Camrose, graduated there with my business degree. And coming out of the gates, I was like, I wanted to, I grew up on around the farm. So I wanted to open a Western store.
Yeah.
That was my first thing. And then I was like, oh no, that's silly. I'm going to be a cake designer.
Okay.
Baked a couple of cakes and I was like, oh my God, like cake people are crazy. Like this is so stupid. Why am I hauling a cake in the back of my car in 30-degree weather? No, it's no for me. And then there was something else in between that. There was a third, but I can't remember what it was. So there was like all these like little ideas of being a business owner, but it was just a matter of like trying to figure out what.
And you were
Right?
exploring all this right after you graduated uni?
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah. And then I was always there you go to a concert, you're watching, the band or the main singer or, whoever it is on stage. And I feel like a broken record when I tell this story, when I answer this question, but you watch that, I watch everything else, right?
Yeah.
I'm watching like the pyro and I'm watching like that performance where Pink literally rolls around the stadium in the air. I'm looking at the logistics and the rigging of that. Like I'm so infatuated with logistics and how things function, right?
Yeah.
So this is a very long-winded way of
No, I
telling
love it.
you the moment,
Yeah,
but
this is
this is
great.
this is the lead up
Yeah.
into the moment. So it was like, when I started to notice myself paying attention to those types of things, I was like, oh, okay, so like maybe this is an event thing or a
Yeah.
production thing. Okay. So from there, I went and worked for Big Valley Jamboree, which is one of the biggest country music festivals in what I think Canada, if I'm not mistaken, Western
Yeah.
Canada, if anything. Was their box office supervisor, got to see more of the behind the scenes, went and worked for the Edmonton Marathon, got to see how I didn't see all of it, I saw very little of it, but what I did see was like, wow, that's cool. Like a lot of logistics there again, like organizing
Yeah.
humans and permits and all that kind of stuff. And then the last, funny enough, actually, another planner here in Edmonton, she had an internship up, and I was again frothing at the mouth for the opportunity to go and work for her. While in the back of my brain, I had, unbeknownst to me, kind of already decided that like the wedding industry was where I wanted to be, but yet again, just didn't know where within, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
So didn't get the internship because I think Jen could pick up on the fact that I might learn everything I need to and then just bugger off, right?
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
all of her genius. And she was like, haha, no, joke's on you.
Yes.
But I have a florist that you can go and work with. So I went and worked for this florist. And that was my moment where we're sitting in this consult, and I think this consult was maybe 2 hours, and this couple, and I'm talking like back in this would have been like 2013, 2012-ish, 2013. And they dropped 10 grand in 2 hours, just over, I think. And that now, for like, that's like a $15,000 to $18,000 floral contract in today's money to me, I think.
Yeah.
I don't do math on days that end with Y, so
Yeah.
stay with me. That was the moment where it was, I saw these strangers meet in a room, connect, talk, have a transaction, and walk away thrilled. And there was
Yeah.
just something very weird about that to me. It was like, how can you trust someone that much in 2 hours and drop that kind of dough? Like, that's wild on flowers. Like, that's crazy, right?
Yeah.
So there was trust, there was connection, and there was a lot of joy. And that it was that moment where I was like, that, whatever the fuck that is, like, I want to be a part of that. And I incorporated on my company a year later, and I'm 11 years into it. So, like I said, the long-winded way of the moment was being in that, what led up to me being in that room with that couple.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. That is a great answer because it sounds like you had an inkling towards
Mhm.
events, and then it's one thing to have that, but it sounded like you put yourself in a position to be exposed to the
Yeah.
different aspects of it. Because I mean, you could have just kept going to concerts and be like, that would have been so cool to do events.
Totally.
And then, but like, it sounds like, you did the marathon, you did the floral business. So
Yeah.
you were putting yourself in proximity to like have that moment of like, this is what I want.
Completely. And I find it super interesting, like when I, hindsight 2020, when I was, and I think I mentioned it, it was like unbeknownst to me, like this is the industry I wanted to be a part of, just didn't know where within.
Yeah.
Wedding planning, I thought was cool. I thought it might be a little bit, this sounds so negative when I think about my job now, but I thought it might be a little bit soft for my personality, if that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like for those who
Yeah.
know me, get it, obviously those who are listening, you don't, but I'm a big personality. I'm a bit of a rough and tough gal. And so I was just really worried that the being a wedding planner with like that J-Lo lens and like
Yeah.
this very like the pencil skirt, clipboard, a whole just like not my vibe. But I think when I look back at that, I'm so bloody grateful because having worked with that florist, I have such an appreciation for another person who I work with in my industry now that I'm a planner. Does
Yeah.
that make sense? Like I just
Yeah.
am so, after having dug those trenches with them and seeing what it requires to be a wedding florist, like it's wild. Oh
Yeah.
my God, it's wild.
Yeah, well, I'm sure then it again, like like you said, looking back, it's like those things that you're just like, but that also probably serves you. So like when you're doing your creative, when you're thinking through, when you're actually thinking, it's like, well, I actually know what that process would look like or kind of thing. So a question I have is, so you're saying like you're in that flower shop, you kind of almost had that like aha moment of like this, and then you said a year later you incorporated. So in that year, like what did that year look like? Like were you like, did you know from that moment like wedding planner, and then what is it like, I'm going to try to like soak up as much information, I'm going to try to network, like what did that aha moment to the, because again, lots of people can even get to that aha moment, but then nothing happens after. So what did that look like?
I think for me, like what kind of going back to that initial, you know, the being the businesswoman and I was really nervous about the financials, right? I grew up with financial trauma. Like that's just a part of my reality. It's not everybody else's. And so for me to walk into wanting to start my own business, I think the coolest part was that I could do it with very at a very slight cost if it failed, right? Being a wedding planner, you are service based. I had no interest in getting in the rentals or any kind of that, or in any other aspect of the industry yet. And so for me, truly, all I needed was a computer and a phone. Right. I needed a new computer. Well, I shouldn't say that. A computer, a website, and a phone. So for me, I was like, that's manageable. Like I can do that. I'm not an idiot. I have my business degree. Like I can figure this out. And I think there's a level of confidence that I'm so grateful I had to be like, I don't know, but I have people I can ask. So that year was me swallowing my massive ego of not knowing all the things, because that's one of my biggest fears is not having an answer or not knowing. Like I hate that. I don't want to be caught with my pants down in a room with people who know the things, right?
For sure.
Well, you can't do that when you're starting off. You literally have to walk in and just kind of lay it all out. Say, I don't know anything about incorporating. I might have my business degree, but like there's still a lot that I don't know. Like, and I think that was the year of me being like, I can do this. Let's get a website going, bought a new computer, reached out to my lawyer, bless their hearts, because they just handheld me through all of the paperwork and like dummied it down, for lack of a better way of saying it. That was kind of my year going into incorporating. Does that answer your question, Kelly? Or is that kind of what you're okay.
That's a great
go ahead,
answer.
Steve.
No, I was just gonna say, like, so one question I had then is, did you test your idea? Because it sounds like you knew you want to get in weddings. Then you said, I want to be a wedding planner because, I don't have to pay for upfront like equipment or anything like that. But was there a process of like testing, projecting out financials, being like, if I do X number of weddings, I'll make this much, whatever? Or did you kind of just jump in?
Truthfully, I just kind of jumped in. I wasn't at that point. My goal, so I was working at Earl's at the time. I was a server, manager, bartender, kind of played all the different roles within the company at that time. And for me, it was just like, I would have been 26 when I incorporated. And for me, being 26 as a server felt old. Like, I don't know why, because I would go back to that in a heartbeat some nights, because I'm like, hell yeah, like a 5 to 12 shift and I can walk away. Like, woohoo! That is so awesome. Love that. And I think so for me, thinking back to that 26-year-old Joelle was like, oh my God, you are old. You need to find a way to get out of this. This is really cool. You could really thrive at this. What if you made just enough money to be able to counterbalance, maybe even jump ahead and then get out of the industry, right? I wasn't necessarily looking at the projections of what income I could create and what this would cost. Like, it was just kind of like, holy shit, I'm just going to go for it and jump all in. There wasn't much thought beyond that.
But so your plan was essentially to keep working at Earl's until your income from wedding planning equaled what you're making at Earl's?
Totally. Joke's on me, because it took me almost 4 years to get out of the service industry full time until I could take wedding planning full time, because what I didn't realize is I've got 6 months to make hay as a wedding planner, right?
Yeah.
So my income is now not 12 months. It's not a year-round income producing activity or career. You have 6 months. Go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that first year I reached out to 4 friends and was like, hi, hello, you're getting married and you're going to let me plan it. Okay, great. So, blah, blah, blah. And I did that with 4 of our friends, basically voluntold them wedding planner. And
did you didn't charge them? Like you were just doing it to get the experience and build out your portfolio? Okay. Yeah.
At that point, it was just about the imagery. Like all I was after was like, I will plan your wedding if you give me a good review and if I can have the photos of your wedding. My industry is so image heavy. That's all couples want to see, right? So for me, whatever I could get my hands on as far as imagery to throw on my website made me look legit. I'm not proud of the fact, but I even reached out to another girlfriend and was like, hey, you got married. Can I have your wedding photos, please? I had nothing to do with it, but I was like scrappy at that point. I was getting gritty. I'm like, at this point, I can give a shit. I just need somebody to I know I can do this. I know I don't mean to say it so many times. I know I'm not an idiot. I can figure this out. I've got this. I was just so determined and so confident in that I could. It was just a matter of getting somebody else to trust the fact that I could and pay me to do it.
Was that so? The first thing I've noticed, and this is something that's come up in a lot of our conversations, is to start something, you got to give stuff away for free for longer than you think. Just when you said you did 4 weddings for free, my mind was like, that's crazy. That's a lot of time and effort. But it does sort of seem like the price, of admission to start something. It's you have to work for free for a pretty long time before you're gonna get any traction.
And like I said, it took me 4 years to get it full time. There's part of me that looks back and goes, damn, you held on for that long before you could actually go. Everybody says it takes 5 years to get your business up and running and at a point where it's stable, etc. Or that's the proverbial 5-year window of being able to be successful, whatever. But I look back at it and I'm just like, wow, not only in your first year did you do the 4 weddings for free. I think I charged 7. I don't even know what I charged. I could go back because they're all friends of mine still. I could go back and ask them. I think I charged one couple $750. It was another 4 weddings the next year. So we're talking under $5,000 of income. And I was like, what? Thinking I'm rolling in it, right? So it just took it took a minute. Hate it. Hate that you have to give everything away for free, but it's just like you said, the admission ticket. That's the cost.
Yes. No, and I think it does. I don't know. I think it makes it a little bit more tangible, or at least more realistic to people who, again, the purpose of this podcast is to, profile people who have done it, but then also inspire people who are thinking about doing it. And it's if you, just set up a website and start selling stuff and things don't sell, that doesn't mean your idea is shit. It just means you gotta go out and push and give those out. But so that's really helpful. But one thing you mentioned is that you were always so determined and always so confident, because there is that's a huge part of entrepreneurship and working for yourself. Is just having that energy of screw you, I'm gonna do it. Is that something you had to work on? And can you think of moments where you're just it was a slog by the sounds of it, and I'm sure there were moments where you doubted yourself.
Oh,
Do you remember what helped you get through that? Like, was there a song? Was there something you told yourself? Did you look at prior
yeah.
reviews? A past guest said they had a hype folder that they would look at nice things, but curious
Yeah.
your take on that, because that's a huge piece of it.
I love a hype folder. I
Yeah,
love that idea.
yes.
That's so genius. I what got me through those moments where I wasn't totally sure if this was going to fly. Okay, so just speaking to the confidence piece, bless my mother's heart, she just raised us to be that way. And I know that's not everybody's reality. And I chalk up a lot of my success to and laid at my mom's feet because I'm like, you did this. Like, thank you for raising me in a way where I wasn't a doormat, right? Or
And sorry to jump in, but I will say
no,
that's
go.
often like, I'm a tall guy, you're tall.
Yes.
Like, I feel like it's usually the opposite. When most people I find, they're big guys,
Yes.
big girls, like they're kind of like, I don't feel insecure. I don't need to, like, you know. So like, I think that's even like more important.
100%. And I think for me, like again, yeah, being 6'1", Steven, what are you, 6'6", like 6'5"?
6'5", yeah.
Yeah, like there's just that confidence that comes with my height that sometimes I don't even intentionally mean to own, but it happens. And then people just kind of move accordingly. And I don't say that for us to sound arrogant or like bulldozy-ish, whatever, but you know, it's just, I'm very grateful for that, just that one characteristic of just being confident and having the grit to be able to just go. And I think and I'll also chalk it to working on the farm. Like, you just don't get to say no. Are those animals in -50? Yeah. They rely on you. It is your responsibility to go and thaw the water out there in that field when it's -50 and it's frozen, or the calf that's just been born at 4 a.m. and it is also still -50. Like, you there's just no out. Like, there's just no option, and it's just like forward. Like that is your option. It's just one foot in front of the other. And so going back to your question with, you know, what got me through those moments, I think I would have to say that it comes from a place of wanting to offer something different. Okay. So when everybody's understanding of a wedding planner, and Kelly, you specifically can speak to this, having been a client of mine. One of the things that I noticed immediately when I was getting into the industry is everything's just white and gold and pretty and pristine and very curated and very structured. And am I explaining what you would typically know? Kelly's nodding her head.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? There's just something, it's beautiful, but it's so fucking boring.
No,
It's so
I remember
boring.
I remember when looking, I'll interject here, and for the listeners, Joelle planned my wedding about 8 months ago, something like that. But anyways, I remember looking for wedding planners, and like the one thing I didn't want is I felt like so many weddings were just a checklist. Like it was just like, you do XYZ and you see like ABC kind of thing. And it was just like, they all kind of start to look the same, beautiful and still really nice. I remember just being like, I just don't want the wedding to feel like a checklist, and we just have to do things for the sake of doing things, and they have to look away for the sake of looking away a certain way. And that's what drew me to you and your style, was I was like, oh, like
cool.
It's cool, it's different kind of thing. So
it sounds like what was kind of driving you is that like an artist, you had an idea inside of you that you like wanted to get out.
Yeah. How do I Joellify this?
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Like, truly, how do I make my own imprint in this industry that just feels so blush, white and fluffy and sparkly and all of the things? Like, how can I do this? How can I do it differently?
Yeah. And how do you balance like the creative and the commercial? Because I think that's something as well, where it's like, you know, a lot of people like, it sounds like you grew up creative. Like, I think I'm somewhat creative too. And it's just like, oh, I'd like to be like a stand-up comedian and like make movies. It's like, you're not going to make, like, I also have to eat food. So like, and it sounds like, I imagine as a wedding planner, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I got this crazy idea. Like, I want to do this, but like the budget's only this. And like, I
Yeah.
guess I could pay myself less. Well, you know, that whole push and pull. So how do you, I guess, balance that?
How do I balance, try me again. How do I balance creativity with
Like the commerciality? I don't know. I don't think I'm saying that right.
commercialized?
But like, you know, like still running a business and being like, I gotta make
Mm,
money, but like I have all these creative ideas. And even just
yeah.
like the fact that you chose the wedding industry, because like there's a lot of other ways to be creative, but you are being
Yeah.
creative in a place that, you know, people are spending money. So is
Yeah.
that something you think about, or is it like now you're in a good spot where you can kind of manage it? But is that always kind of a struggle? I don't know.
I feel like more than ever, this industry has blown out,
Yeah.
up and out, like not out in a bad way, out in a good way. You know, when I think, and my mom, not to make this all about my mom, we love you, Vina, we hear you, you're here. I just made that sound like she was dead. It was really morbid. Sorry, guys. She's not. Plot twist. When I think about the industry, like back when my mom got married, right? Like this was a very at the church. You went and got your photos at the studio. There was no outside photography. You went to the hall. It was a potluck. Period. Right.
Yeah.
To the tune of people now chauffeuring their guests in teak boats in Italy to the ceremony site, for example. You know what I mean? Like it's just so, it is so logistically heavy. It is so creative. It is so much more than it ever has been because we're obsessed with the experiential. Right? Weddings are now, and it kind of is disheartening when I say it, but it's not necessarily just about the marriage, right?
Yeah.
It is about all of the song and dance that surrounds it. Because we want to be remembered. We want it to slap. We want it to register as like, holy shit, do you remember Kelly and Gabriel's wedding?
Yeah.
Do you remember, you know, like, do you remember that time where her brother gave the most amazing speech? Yeah, shameless plug there, for you, Stephen. Like those are the things that we're worried about now. And so when I think about the creativity and how, like my role within that, I think that's probably one of my favorite things about the job is that it's always changing. Like expectations and ideas. Like this isn't a one lane industry where it's like there's just one simple way of thinking. You know, people are we hang people from the roof and from us, like from the silks, and they pour champagne into people's glasses. That's a wedding. Like we do that at a wedding now. Like when my mom thinks about those things, she goes, "What the damn hell?"
Yeah.
Like, don't you want grandma to just bake you a cake and buy your paperwork and Bob's your uncle kind of thing? Like, so I think that's the best part of the job is it's constantly changing and it forces me to stay creative and oh my gosh, what's the word? Not intuitive. What did the guy who invented the telephone? He's an inventor. You always are.
No,
I don't know what the word is.
Inventive.
Yeah.
Well, I think, and it's like not to be here like answering questions for Joelle, but I also think like an example of that too is like for when you're planning with us, like when you're doing like the design deck kind of thing, and it's like there was option A, which was like a little bit pricier, just a little bit, and then option B, which was a little less, and it was like we could see it all. And I think from that creative standpoint, like I think even talking to your assistant Paige about it, like and then it was up to us to decide kind of thing, what are we going to go with? And I remember when we said finally, okay, we are going to go with the baby's breath ceiling, I remember Paige being like, oh my gosh, we are so happy, like kind of thing. So it's like I could imagine it would be like as a creative, you do come up with these creative things, but then it is the client's call from the financial side of it that then could kind of crush the creative dream a bit, which I would imagine would be difficult too.
Yeah. And that is the hard part too, where you're like, oh fuck, I came up with such a great idea, and like I'm so enthusiastic, and I've drawn it and sketched it all out, and I've pitched it, and they're like, nah, dog, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
It's fine.
so you mentioned how you sort of built out your portfolio. You did weddings for free, but how did you get your first like commercial rate customer?
Paid.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think who even was. You know what, Stephen? I don't know that I could answer that correctly per se. I'm not sure who would have been.
So it would have been something like, were you cold emailing random people? Were you phoning up? Was it like, is your business really word of mouth? Like, I guess
I was just gonna say, if anything, it would have been word of mouth. I think that's what it would have been, if I remember right, because like I grew up in the small town of Camrose, and then a lot of the weddings that I had done for free, they were all also Camrose people, and then it was just like that slow ripple that just built and built and built and continues. Like that is literally the nature of my business now, is still word of mouth. A little bit on the SEO, Google search, etc. Our socials play a huge role in it now, but initially and still today is that word of mouth. Yeah.
Yeah. And was there, because it sounds like you were doing it part-time for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Was there a moment that you remember when you were just like, all right, this is the time, like I can go full-time, I feel good with it? And what was like that threshold that I guess gave you the signal that you were good to go?
I had moved in with Cam. So there was like that fallback plan. And like, I knew it was a for sure thing with Cam, where I was like, okay, shit, if this doesn't work, like we can still have the power and a roof over our heads. So we're good. So I was fortunate enough to have that as my fallback plan. But I just totally lost your question. You were talking about
like was there a specific moment where you felt comfortable to go full-time?
Going full-time, right.
Yes,
I think when it was like when I was able to pull out of my company account what I was taking home as a server, maybe just a little bit less, that was where I was like, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Oh my God, we're doing it. Holy fuck, butt pucker moments. Like we're doing this. Because there was also a part of me where it's like, if not now, when?
Yeah.
Truly. Like, and that is such a statement, or that is one phrase that I constantly say to me. If not now, when, Joelle? Right? It is so applicable today. And it was then. And it was that moment of like, do I go full time? Well, if not now, when, Joelle? So let's just jump. Right?
Yeah. Was there ever a moment where you were like, I gotta go back to like the waiting job? Like, I'm like, what have I done?
Ever heard of a thing called COVID?
That is true. Well, I guess the good news is that kind of took the backup option, because serving was kind of out too.
Totally.
Yeah.
Right? Like I think about COVID, like my job was illegal.
That's a great question. So how did you handle COVID?
Yeah. I thank my lucky stars that we were able to make it through, by the grace of God. I don't know how we did it, but we did. That was when, that was a season of like where I learned like real grit. Like if you want to make it through this, everybody got gritty. It wasn't just me. Everybody had to get gritty and find a way through that. If you haven't noticed, one of my favorite words is gritty, apparently. How did I make it through that? That was, like our job, we weren't allowed to do our job. Our job was illegal. We were not allowed to gather, right?
Yeah.
That is the center of my job, is gathering humans in a building and celebrating it. All of that was illegal, right?
And sorry, when did you go full time? Like what year?
Okay, so I incorporated in 2015, so it would have been 2019.
Okay, so it's literally like right after.
Just.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
2018.
So sorry. 2018. Okay, so you had a few years of full time.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes.
And I also had an employee at that time, if I remember right. Yeah. It was. Yeah, I think I had Caitlin just before. Oh gosh, can't remember the timing of it, but all I remember was, you know, feeling really shitty, obviously, that like I couldn't do my job in the way that I was meant to. The role of my job completely flipped on its head. I was now a therapist, like a very unqualified therapist. I became a little bit of everything. I became a politics expert. I became a therapist. I like it was just wild. But what I do remember is so our company name is Joy by Joelle, and the
Yeah.
Joy again, this is my mom. My mom's middle name is Joyce. Events evoke joy.
Yeah.
Jo is a part of my own name. And I just really, I don't know, there's something about the word joy that I really attach like my identity to. I love the feeling of joy. So when COVID hit, it was like, okay, how do we still bring about joy to these couples who are feeling everything fucking but?
Yeah.
Like in the lowest of lows, when these moments are supposed to be the highest of highs, like how can we flip the script? And so I remember doing I had it called the Badass Bride membership. I created this monthly membership for these brides to jump in with me for 3 months and ask me questions.
And was this
I
for
had
free, or
I
were
had
you charging, or what was
no,
the?
I was charging. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
It was a subscription. It was a 3-month subscription where I would jump on them once, or I think I would jump on once a week. They would throw all their questions into a Facebook group, or like it was a Facebook group platform. Everybody was a part of it. We all got together and all the feels and questions, and I would
For
answer
sure.
them.
Yeah.
And it was great. It like gave everybody a sense of community. These brides were able to connect with one another when they were just feeling so down and on the outs. Um, that was one of the things that I did, like, so as to create another stream of income when there wasn't any others.
Yeah.
Literally, it just
Yeah.
halted. I was jumped on social, and I started kind of piecing together like how you would go about creating a 10-person wedding. Like people truly couldn't even comprehend what that looked like.
Yeah.
What do you mean I can have a 10-person wedding? Okay, well, your efficient is now your dad. You're, like
Yeah.
having to like kind of retrain their brains on how to look at this through another lens and find just like, again, the little snippets of joy that they can in a situation that they've been completely robbed of.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, that was
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah. That's crazy. And does it?
Mhm.
I mean, when you're like just the way you're even describing it, of like
Yeah.
it during that time, like your business got fucked, but like it
Yeah.
sounds like your concern was like, how do I bring joy to
Yeah.
these brides' lives who were robbed of this moment? Where do you
Yeah.
think that comes from? Like, I guess like that focus on other people's joy, which I imagine is like a
Mhm.
prerequisite to be a great wedding planner. Like,
Yeah.
is that something that gets tiring? Is it hard? Like, do you have to manufacture it sometimes? Like, or
For
like, I
sure.
don't know. Were you always like
Yeah.
that? Like,
I hang my hat on it being about 95% of the time. That's like really
yeah.
authentic and real, but for sure, I'd be bold-faced lying to you if I hadn't 5% of you that's not manufactured. Find me somebody who says it's 100% and I'll show
Yeah,
you a liar.
yeah.
I think if I subscribe to it, and that's just like that moral compass for me. It's like when you subscribe to the bullshit becomes like it's just all inundating, right? So
Yeah.
it's like if I can, if I just, if I just try, if I try to be, I got to have that day. These girls, these couples, this got served up to them on a silver platter. They got force fed it. They
Yeah.
didn't get the option. They didn't get the luxury that I did of just being able to, right? And so for me, it was just more so about, yeah, just choosing it and just being a part of the other side of the script so as to be that person to be like, fuck, thank God for her.
Yeah.
Because had like again, not tooting my own horn, but like had it not been for me in these certain moments, like I can't imagine how some of these people would have felt. not even the couples, some of these parents, like I would be on the phone with some of these parents going, oh my God, Joelle, like our girl, and I'm just like holding, consoling, whatever was required in that moment. But one of my favorite quotes is, we're all built for hard things. And I think that's one of that was one of my moments where I could shine, is like, okay, this is really fucking hard. We're gonna like figure this out. We can do this. You just have to choose. That sounds so like surface and hippy dippy, but like I truly had to choose it. I had to.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's a really good answer. Like when everything's, going south, like if you can be the one person who kind of like holds the line, that kind of inspires others, and, brings everyone together. So you said word of mouth is really big for you. Is there any other like marketing strategy that you found has helped you grow your business?
Good old Graham.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't care what people say, like your social media, it's just a grab. For me, it's Instagram and TikTok. I don't do TikTok as much. My ideal clients, that's where they're hanging out on, right? Whenever you think about your marketing, it's like trying to find the space of which that customer client is hanging out on. And for me, it's the gram. The girls are on the gram, right?
Yeah.
We're such an image heavy industry that's where everybody wants to see the weddings. Like, but also like being a wedding planner, like how do I get to know this girl or whoever they are? Like I need to find a way to get to know that personality if I'm going to hire them. So word of mouth is huge. Like there's two families now where I've married all of the kids. I've married off all of the children. Steven, you're next.
I mean, we gotta.
That's the coolest part. Like
we gotta have some. There's some other things that need to happen first. We need to. Yeah, we haven't had a therapist guest yet on the podcast, but that's like step one.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
So word of mouth and socials for sure. Yeah.
Yes. No, that's. And is there, when you do socials, like just to get more specific with Instagram, are you doing Instagram ads? Are you like strategically making posts, or is this just kind of like you document your weddings and that's how, and you just post it and then it just grows and grows?
Yeah. I not doing ads. I'm full transparency. No, I haven't done any Instagram ads.
Have you ever tried it?
I've done a couple, but I also have been like really willy-nilly about it. Like, oh, here's like $30. Like, here's my target audience of like 25 to 35 or 25 to 40. Female, go.
Yeah.
Like, okay, waste your $30, Joelle. Like, bravo. Well done, marketing girl. For me, I like to be really polarizing on social, or I try to be polarizing. It doesn't always land that way, but
just hitting on like political topics like Gaza.
Polarizing in the industry. Like I stay in that lane. I've let the record state for sure. But I she was getting a good haul on that one.
Put up polls on like Trump. What do you guys think? Anyways,
can you imagine? Oh my god!
Yes, this mega wedding was so beautiful. So, anyways,
oh my god!
Yeah,
just
so
for polarizing. The fun of it, I probably should.
Well, you can credit me for these ideas.
This is all Steven's idea. He lives in Toronto. Here's his number. Please contact him.
Yes.
With all of the Instagram stuff, like I just try. I have a very specific client. Kelly is obviously one of those couples who like they know what they want. They're excited about it. They've got a decent budget to invest in their wedding, and that's like that. Those are my people, right? Those are the people I want to call into my world. And so with that, like I'm talking to those people via the verbiage, like our brand's verbiage that we use. Yesterday I posted, it's gone wild. I knew it would do okay, but I didn't think it would do this well. And it was if I had 150K, here's how I would break down your budget. And I like every single vendor, I created a budget and it just popped off. And so I think what's really interesting is sometimes your audience, and this is nothing new, I'm certainly not reinventing the wheel here. My audience is also my marketing team, interestingly enough, right? I threw this out and now all I'm getting back right now is, oh my God, this is so good. Yes, please eat, snack. All, all of the words are coming back and I'm like, shit, okay, like everybody wants to. So now I have this little series that I'm going to create about like the 80K budget, and here's the percentages that you can use for your budget, and if you're 20K, use this. Like it's interesting how I have an idea of how my marketing should go, and then all of a sudden I throw it out there and it's like 6 likes and I'm like, well, I'll go fuck myself. Like I thought that was genius, and then I throw this stuff out and it's like I think it's sitting at like 20,000 views and it's got 300 shares on it. Like love that. That's huge for a little gig like me. Huge for a gig like me.
That's so interesting. So you don't know what's gonna hit, but you just try new stuff and
But like as you start to see the stuff that slaps, you're like, oh, okay, noted. And off you go.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
For
So
sure.
now that you are, I guess, about 10 years into since you incorporated, is there a moment when you look back that you're the most proud of since you started your business?
Oh, that's such a good question. A moment that I'm most proud of. I mean, there was this wedding will forever be the top conversation. There was a wedding I did in 2019. It was everybody knows it as the big white wedding. It was that week that I became a planner because I got served every fucking challenge under the sun as far as having to think on my feet. And then, Sunday came around and I melted into my couch because it was just like decision fatigue, physical, emotional, mental fatigue. And I look back at that moment being like, fucking atta girl. Like you figured it out. You figured it out. You didn't have the nipple of knowledge to suck on or pull, like it was just, I figured it out. And it was, I think that would probably be the one moment where I look back on, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. High five myself. We're still here. Must be doing something right. I don't know.
It's good because I'm sure if you had a choice before that week began of do you want all this shit to go wrong or not, you would have been like, oh, definitely not. Like I don't want that. But then 7 years later, like that's what you're thinking about. I was like, I'm the most proud of that. So I don't know. It is like, what did you say earlier? Like we're meant to do hard things. Like it's just to show. Like I'm sure it was terrible at the time. But, it's like your most meaningful thing.
I'm every year there are moments where I have that thought though now because I'm like, oh, like bring it on world, and then they play this sick joke on me where I go and dig a new trench and I'm like, oh no, enough. Like haven't I been there, got the t-shirt with this shit yet? Right?
No, I love it.
That's the best part. Right?
Yes.
That's the best part. I've got stories to tell for days.
I love it. If you were talking to someone who was maybe in a similar spot as you were in 2015, 2016, and they're thinking about starting something, they don't really know how or to go about it, what advice would you give to someone?
I think I would go shadow.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that I didn't do. I wouldn't say if they're on the cusp of like, should I, shouldn't I? Like for me, it was there's that mentality of like, fuck yeah or fuck no.
Yeah.
That's how I go about decision making. And for me, it was a fuck yeah. So it was just a full send, jump all limbs in, we're going for it. but some don't think that way. And so for those individuals, like if they're teeter-tottering, like just go shadow somebody, whether it be a wedding planner, whether it be a lawyer, whether it, it doesn't matter the job.
Yeah.
Can I just come follow you around for a day,
Yeah.
a week, 2 weeks, a month, like whatever that looks like whatever the person is open to. Because I think there's aspects of people, the job that we look at and go, oh my God, that's so amazing. Like, it's everything that I want. I want to have my own corner office. I want to be able to, like that whole, and I love that because that's fun to have that. It's cute. Let's be honest, it's cute. But yeah, I think as far as like what I would say to someone who wants to get into whether it's the wedding industry or otherwise is to just go shadow. I think that's actually such a lost approach. Like people end up investing their entire education into that one thing that they thought they wanted to get into, come out of it and go, yeah, I want to be a farmer.
Yes.
Cool, man. Like no problem. Like give her. But like, what if you just went and shadowed a farmer or, you know what I mean? Like, I just think there's so much value in following somebody around and doing the things that they do with them to get a taste of it prior to.
Yes. Yeah. No, that's great advice. Before we end it, I want to give you a chance to plug yourself. So where can our listeners find you?
Yeah, you could come hang out with me on Instagram. I'm Joy by Joelle. That's our social or our handle for our Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram. Come reach out and say hi. Come hang out.
Perfect.
Sure.
And the website is joybyjoelle.com.
You got it. Absolutely.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, amazing. Thank you so much, Joelle. It was a ton of fun to hear your
so
story.
Good.
I think you dropped the most F-bombs out of all I get. So that's
for the
good.
record, I asked Kelly.
We told you.
Yeah, you said
yeah.
come as you are.
We told you.
Censor myself.
No,
Kelly said, come as you are.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about Gaza-themed weddings, so I think we're all right. But thank you so much for coming on. It was a lot of
You
fun.
betcha. Thanks so much for having me, you guys.
Thank you.